Security cameras captured three masked figures entering Tokyo's most exclusive jewelry store at exactly 2:47 p.m. What happened next would go down as the most audacious heist in Japanese history. The Pink Panthers had spent months studying every detail of the Ginza district store. They memorized guard rotations, timed customer patterns, and mapped escape routes through Tokyo's maze-like streets. For 100 days, they watched and waited. When they finally struck, it was pure chaos. Sledgehammers and axes shattered reinforced glass in seconds while terrified customers dove for cover. The thieves moved with military precision, targeting specific display cases containing the highest value diamonds. In under 3 minutes, they grabbed $35 million worth of gems and vanished into the crowded streets. By the time police arrived, the Panthers had disappeared completely. Most were never caught, cementing their reputation as the world's most wanted jewelry thieves. The perfect crime executed in broad daylight. Did you know a simple piece of tape brought down the most powerful man in America? On the night of June 17, 1972, security guard Frank Wills was making his rounds at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C. At 12:30 in the morning, he discovered something odd. Door locks had been taped open. He removed the tape and continued his patrol, but when he returned, fresh tape had been placed. Someone was inside. 5 floors up, 5 men in business suits and surgical gloves were installing sophisticated wiretapping equipment in the Democratic National Committee headquarters. They carried cameras, listening devices, and $2,300 in cash. These weren't ordinary burglars. They moved like professionals, targeting specific officers with precision. But when police arrived, they were trapped. All 5 were arrested on the spot with their spy equipment. What seemed like a third-rate burglary would expose a massive conspiracy reaching straight to the White House. 2 years later, President Nixon resigned in disgrace. One piece of tape changed American history forever. Did you know Britain's biggest heist was pulled off by the man paid to prevent it? Monday morning, July 13, 1987. Manager Parvez Latif walked into the Knightsbridge Safe Deposit Center vault. It was completely empty. 120 safety deposit boxes had been cracked open. £60 million worth of cash, jewelry, and gold had vanished without a trace. But here's the twist. The thieves hadn't broken in from above or blasted through the front door. They had spent 3 months digging a 40-foot tunnel directly underneath the building. Working only at night, they rented a leather goods shop next door as perfect cover. Using professional mining equipment, they carved through concrete and steel in complete silence. When they finally broke through, they hit the jackpot. Some boxes belonged to friends of the notorious Cray twins. The investigation revealed the shocking truth. Parvez Latif, the very man who discovered the empty vault, had orchestrated the entire operation from the inside. The ultimate betrayal in Britain's criminal history. Did you know thieves once stole Napoleon's golden sword, worth $6.4 million in under 4 minutes? On a quiet Tuesday morning in 2007, guards at Paris's Army Museum discovered a nightmare. The display case was smashed. Napoleon's ceremonial coronation sword was gone. This wasn't some random break-in. These thieves had studied the museum for months. They knew exactly which sword to target among thousands of artifacts. The precision was terrifying. Motion detectors, cameras, multiple security layers, all bypassed like they were never there. Security footage revealed the shocking truth. 2 figures moved like shadows through the gallery. They used a glass cutter and suction cups, working in complete silence. 4 minutes. That's all it took to steal a piece of history. The investigation went cold until 2 years later. Serbian police found the sword in a random raid. The theft exposed massive security flaws in France's most prestigious military museum. Napoleon's blade had traveled further than the emperor himself ever imagined. Did you know 15 men once pulled off the most audacious heist in British history using nothing but fake signals and military precision? At 3:03 in the morning on August 8, 1963, driver Jack Mills saw a red signal and brought the Glasgow to London mail train to a complete stop. Within seconds, a masked figure struck him over the head with an iron bar. The great train robbery had begun. For 16 months, this gang had planned every detail, buying a remote farm as their headquarters and studying mail train schedules like generals preparing for war. They rigged the railway signals to stop the train at the exact spot they needed. What happened next was breathtaking in its efficiency. The robbers formed a human chain, passing 120 mail sacks containing £2.6 million in just 15 minutes while Mills lay bleeding. Most were caught within months, but ringleader Ronnie Biggs escaped to Brazil, becoming a folk hero and inspiring countless movies. Sometimes the perfect crime isn't so perfect after all. Did you know the world's most secure diamond vault was cracked by a man with hairspray and tape? On Monday morning, February 17, 2003, guards at Antwerp's Diamond Center discovered their impenetrable vault door hanging open. 123 safety deposit boxes sat empty. Over $100 million in diamonds had vanished. The mastermind was Leonardo Notarbartolo, a charming Italian who had spent 3 years posing as a legitimate diamond merchant. He rented an office in the building, studied every camera angle, and mapped out all 10 layers of security. Over one weekend, his crew disabled heat sensors with hairspray, blocked motion detectors with tape, and bypassed magnetic fields using simple household items. They drilled through the massive vault door while security cameras recorded everything, thinking they were invisible. For hours, they emptied box after box in complete silence. The perfect crime had one fatal flaw. Notarbartolo discarded a half-eaten sandwich near the scene. His DNA was all over it. He was arrested within weeks. But the diamonds? Most were never found. Did you know Europe's biggest financial scandal started with a simple question about missing cash? In June 2020, CEO Markus Braun sat confidently in his Munich mansion, running Wirecard, Germany's fintech darling worth 24 billion euros. But auditors at EY had been asking uncomfortable questions about 1.9 billion euros supposedly sitting in Philippine trust accounts. For years, Braun had fooled everyone with fake bank statements and shell companies across Asia. Whistleblowers had tried warning authorities, but Braun's charm and fabricated documents silenced every doubt, until June 18th, when auditors demanded actual proof of the cash. They contacted the Philippine banks directly. The response was devastating. The accounts never existed. Every document was completely fabricated. Within hours, Wirecard's stock crashed 85%. Police arrived at Braun's home that same evening, placing him under arrest. The company that once rivaled PayPal lost 99% of its value overnight. 1.9 billion euros had vanished into thin air, exposing Germany's financial oversight as a complete joke.